So this video is for a specific challenge that I'm entering. My pink stamper is starting a new design team, or adding to her design team for the next 6 months, and she has a challenge to make something creating specific colors. She asked for green, orange, brown, and turquoise, and then you could choose one other color. So I really like those colors, although I've never used all of them in one project, so it was a bit challenging to find all the paper. But I had this turquoise colored paper from the Shimmer Stack from Die Cuts with a View, so I chose to use that. And then from Die Cuts, also with Die Cuts with a View, from the Cotton Bloom Stack, there was this orange paper that kind of has some little cream or yellowish lines running through it. It's not really a plaid, it's more of a geometrical shape. But I was hoping for a plaid, but I couldn't find anything that I had that was the right plaid that I was looking for. But there's the orange for the requirement. And then the green is also from the Die Cuts with the Blue Cotton Bloom Stack. And I like it. It's got some shadowing throughout it, various shades of green. And for the project that I'm going to do, that was perfect. And then I chose for brown. I had just a stack of paper from Recollections that I wanted to use. And then kind of in the orange family, I needed a background color. This is kind of an orangey, peachy color. And this is from Coordinations. It's one of the foundations from Coordinations, and it's in the Pearl family. And it coordinates well with the orange color. So then I needed some flesh color, which I just have from a Provo Craft pack that I keep on hand for any time that I'm doing paper dolls or anything that I need a flesh color. So then for the extra color, I chose cream, just kind of to act as a base to tie it all in. So the next part of the challenge then was to make something using your favorite Cricut cartridge. And one of my favorite Cricut cartridges is Kate's ABCs. I actually, between it and Elegant Edges, it was kind of a hard choice on which is my favorite, but I really like Kate's ABCs. And so I chose I'm going to be making the girl on page 60 on Kate's ABCs. And just so you know, everything that I cut out at 3 inches. So, and then I chose to make a card. So let's get started and get that card made very quickly. The first thing I did was that I need to do is design the base of my card. Now I'm going to make a portrait card, so I have the cream colored cardstock, and I cut an 11-inch sheet of paper at 4.5 inches. So this is, 4.25 inches wide by 11 inches long. I'm going to use my score board just because I found that if I don't, I end up not matching up the edges correctly. So I want to score it at 5.5 inches, which is right at my center. Simple, easy cut, pretty straightforward. And there's the base of our card. So as I mentioned, I cut all the layers from Kate's ABCs from the girl on page 60 at 3 inches. So to start with, we'll just lay this out. I use the brown for the base. And then you just start layering all the pieces. Now, I did cut some extra pieces in here because I wanted turquoise flowers, and I wanted the under of the hat to be peach, and then for her dress, I needed the peach. So the flowers and the turquoise hat, and the hat, all come together on one layer, as does the wing on the butterfly. So I had to cut each of those twice just to get everything I needed. So I'm going to start putting our card together, and while I'm doing that, I want to also show you that I use my Xyron little sticker maker just because there's so many tiny pieces that I didn't want to lose them. So while I'm layering these pieces together, I want to tell you a little bit about the inspiration for this card. I work as an ER nurse, And every once in a while you have a situation that you don't quite know what to do with. You know, as an ER nurse, you see good things, but more often you see bad things. And I recently had a situation with a patient that was kind of a sad situation, and without going into patient details, it was just one of those patients that I just wanted to bring home with me. If I did that every time that happened, my husband would have to buy a bigger house, because there's been a few patients I wanted to bring home with me. But this one, this particular situation was a very sad situation. And as the patient was leaving, they were so very thankful for the care that was provided for them. They were a little fearful about the next step of their care. And it just almost broke my heart just to see the fear and just lack of hope that they had, and of course tried to encourage them. As someone who is a believer, who loves the Lord, I always have a prayer as I enter the ER that I will, with every patient that I have, and even with my coworkers, that I will do no harm, of course. And then I also pray that I will just show Christ's love in my actions and reactions. Sometimes some of the things you see in here are so shocking you just don't know how to react. And so, of course, that was my prayer prior to that shift as well. But you're not always able to share your faith. You can show love and kindness to every person, but unless they specifically ask, I'm of course not allowed to share my faith. So as I was decompressing from the situation later, as I always do, I just was thinking about and praying for that particular patient. And so when I was thinking about this particular challenge and the card that I would make, I thought, you know, if I could give the patient a card or something, this would be the one I would give her. I would just let her know that somebody cares, and that there's somebody besides me who cares, but that Jesus cares for her too. So you'll see at the end how that will tie in with this picture and with this little girl as she's sitting there playing with her kitty cat. So let me just finish putting her together. Okay, so we have the little girl all put together. And if we look at our picture here with the Kate's ABCs, it looks like there's a little flower here and a little flower here. Now this is the flower that I had chosen to go with the turquoise. So I will use that one. It just kind of goes here on this branch, or near the branch. And then there's this teeny tiny one here. Just kind of is over with these. I had originally cut this at a smaller size. I wanted a little bit smaller image than what I have here, but I wasn't able to. It was difficult to make these fine, delicate cuts. I'm going to take my pen here and just kind of highlight at her eye so that it kind of pokes out a little bit. And then I have over here the little butterfly that I cut separately. And And he will go right about here, like he's watching the scene. Now I have a decision to make. I think I'm going to go with the turquoise butterfly as well, instead of the pink butterfly, just to bring in a little bit more turquoise. There we go. So that's our little girl in the picture here. Let's see, let's take this little round dot that came on one of the flowers. These little pieces are kind of difficult to use. Let's get my tweezers here. And that ties that back into the cream color. Now, I had pulled out my Tim Holtz Distress ink frayed burlap to ink the edge of the card, but I think I also need to ink the outer edge of her hat, because it's just not showing up. It was too close to the original cream color. So let's just add, it'll be a little bit, I should have done that before I put it on the base. So I'll have to be very careful not to make a mess. There we go. And then I'll take the other side of my sponge. I'm just going to ink the edges of the card just to give it a little more finished look. Okay, let's ink the top. So now to finish the card off, obviously there's a big space on the top. There's a blog called Dee's Bugaboo Boutique, and she has, every week she comes out with a new scripture that she's turned into a digital stamp. And the one that I chose for this particular card, because of my story and because I thought it looked like a good one to go with the card, was 1 Peter 5:7 that says, casting all your anxiety on him because he cares for you. And I resized the stamp to be about 1.5 inches wide by 1 3/4 inches tall, and then I cut a turquoise frame to be 1 3/4 inches wide by 2 inches tall. I'm going to put it probably right about here, but I think it needs a little more. So I have this ribbon from American Crafts, also in brown. I think that'll kind of pull it all together. Let's see, let's go with just this one right here. Right about that. So I'll just trim this. I'm not going to tie a bow or anything. I'm just going to run some tape across some of my ATG across the back of the ribbon. Then I'll just kind of eyeball it. Right about there. Now I'm not doing anything to the inside of this particular card, so I'm not going to wrap it around. I'm just going to trim it off right on the edge of the card. And then to finish it off, I'm going to get some pop foam dots here. Oh, those are a little bit too thick. Let's get these smaller ones. These little foam dots, and I'll put several on because they are so small. Almost finished here. always have more trouble with these little plastic pieces on the back of the dots. I think I will center that right about, or place that right about here. And there we have it. There's our card. So thanks for watching. Hope this inspires you to make a card for yourself or for someone else who's going through a hard time. Have a good day.